Hey guys, this is Paul here in Tochigi, Japan, and as you can see, it's a nice fall morning. So instead of being cooped up in the house today, I figured we'd come outside and make a video. So today I want to talk about the challenges of being a foreign parent here in Japan. So some of you out there watching, maybe your foreign parents already living in Japan, raising kids here. Maybe you just moved here and this is all going to be a new experience for you. Or maybe you're just out there watching this and wondering what is it like to raise kids in a foreign country, or especially in Japan. So I would classify the situation, two types of situations. Either both parents are foreigners living here in Japan and raising a child, or one parent is maybe Japanese, which may seem like it's a little bit easier and can be in some ways, but unless you're going to be the useless parent that just lets the Japanese spouse do everything for you, then there are some challenges. So let's go ahead and jump right into it. So as a foreign parent, when you first moved here to Japan, especially in the beginning, most of the issues, the challenges, are going to be language related and culture related. So one of the first things when you first come to Japan, especially with a child, as foreign parents, your child is going to get sick. They're going to fall down. Children all over the world catch colds, have fevers, need to get vaccinated at some point or another. They're going to need medicine at some point. So all that in Japan, of course, is going to be conducted in Japanese. So when you go to clinics and hospitals, just filling out a simple form that will take a native maybe 1 or 2 minutes to fill out could take you 30-40 minutes if you can even navigate your way through the form. Just a one-page form where you write your name, address, what kind of symptoms, your medical history, all that is going to be in Japanese, of course. And when you get your medicine, when you go to the pharmacy, when you're talking to the doctor, how many times a day, what kind of medicine to take, that of course is all in Japanese. And even if just to go to the drugstore, just to get simple headache medicine or something simple, of course it's all in Japanese. So one of the first things I recommend doing is when you come to Japan is make sure you learn katakana. So a lot of medicine is written in katakana. And, things like acetaminophen, these kind of things, or Tylenol. It's going to all be in Japanese, but it'll be written in katakana, which you can learn to read in a month or 6 weeks. So that's one of the first things. And I'd also recommend learning how to explain symptoms, and what's wrong with your child in Japanese. Just learning some phrases like sneezing, coughing, headache, those kind of things will be really helpful when you go visit a doctor here in Japan. So another challenging thing as foreign parents here in Japan is trying to maintain another language on top of Japanese. So this is one of those situations where if one spouse is Japanese, it can be more challenging. In my situation, my wife only speaks Japanese to my daughter. They only use Japanese. My wife and I only use Japanese. I speak almost only English to my daughter, but she responds in Japanese most of the time. So maintaining a foreign language, another language in the house, can be a challenge. If both parents are foreigners, it can be a little easier, but keep in mind that as your child progresses, especially if they're in Japanese public school, as they progress through their Japanese studies, trying to maintain like a native level of reading and writing in another language when the child is only home just after school and on weekends. So that can be difficult. So the other thing that goes with this is their homework. So if they're in Japanese public school, if both parents are foreigners, then it's going to be hard helping them with their homework. Not just Japanese study, but also math, science, everything is going to be in Japanese. So even simple second, third grade study is going to be difficult for a foreign parent to try to keep up with and help their child. So it might be worth even getting a tutor to help them, a native Japanese speaking tutor that can help them with their homework. The next thing is what I want to call keeping up with the Suzukis. So what I mean by that is your child's class, as foreign parents here in Japan, there's probably a pretty good chance that you'll be a dual income family where both parents are working. which isn't necessarily common for a lot of Japanese families. Japanese families are traditionally the the father is the breadwinner and the mom is a housewife in many cases. So more than likely, a lot of your child's classmates are going to be full Japanese and in that kind of situation. So especially if they're living in their hometowns and they have grandparents nearby, a lot of Japanese families, it's traditional for the grandparents to buy the lancel or the backpack that they use for school, which is $500 or $600. The first bicycle a lot of times is bought by the grandparents. A lot of times the grandparents even buy cars for the parents, and sometimes they even live together. So parents are basically surviving without any kind of home loan, and so it's much easier on a single income. Where foreign parents, the family situation is going to be different, where families can't take expensive vacations a lot of times, can't buy a brand new expensive backpack for the child. It depends on foreign parents. If you're here short term, you can probably get hand-me-downs from Japanese families or from recycle shops. So that's another one of the challenges is when you're trying to keep up with a Japanese family that has a bigger income than like two foreign parents that are living here in Japan. And the next thing is keeping up with your own family. So as foreigners living here in Japan, especially if both parents are foreigners, your family could be halfway around the world in a different time zone, more than likely. So keeping up with your own family can be difficult. And maybe you're only able to go once a year, if that. You know, some of my foreign friends here in Japan haven't been home in 4 or 5 years, especially if they have 2 or 3 kids. Having to buy 5 plane tickets to fly halfway around the world and take 2 or 3 weeks off work can be pricey. So as foreign parents here in Japan, that can be a challenge, is maintaining family relationships. And so that's why it's important. In this day and age, we have Skype. There's lots of applications, WhatsApp. You can use those to call family back home and maintain communication. So that can be a challenge for foreigners living here in Japan, for foreign parents, and for the child who's trying to maintain a relationship with grandparents and cousins and aunts and uncles that are halfway around the world. So yet another challenge for foreign parents is also not just maintaining a language in the house, another language in the house, but also teaching your children about their own culture or where their parents came from. And that can be tough for some families, especially if you're non-Asian and you're living here in Japan. Your child may wonder, why are my parents always getting stared at wherever they go? Maybe it's just whenever the parents speak a different language, the children may get embarrassed. I have quite a few friends here in Tochigi that are Muslim. Ashikaga has quite a large Muslim population, so a lot of my daughter's classmates that are Muslim don't eat the school lunches, the lunches that the school provides, because they're not halal. So a lot of the Muslim families here in Ashikaga, the kids bring their own little lunchbox with halal food. So as children get older, they may wonder, why am I different from my classmates? Why am I eating different food? Why are my parents speaking a different language? Why do I look different? A lot of different reasons and a lot of different things that you'll have to explain to your child as they grow up here in Japan. So that can be a challenge. And the last thing I want to talk about is about taking care of yourself. So not just for foreign parents here in Japan, but anywhere in the world, any person in the world needs to take care of their physical and mental health so that you can be the best person that you can be the best spouse that you can be, and be the best parent that you can be there for your family. And you can't do that if you're sick. So it's really important to take care of yourself. So we're lucky enough to be living in one of the healthiest countries in the world with one of the longest life expectancies. So we might as well just eat like the locals, yeah, and live a long life. And also your mental health, you know, there's not a day that goes by where if you look different, you speak a different language, your culture is different, there's not a day that goes by where I don't have a conversation about where the topic of me being different doesn't come up. Whether it's how good you speak the language or how you look different or anything. It's a topic of a conversation almost every day, whether you live here for 1 year, 5 years, 10 years, or the rest of your life. The conversation that you're different is going to come up. So make sure that you maintain your mental health, and you can do that by taking time for yourself, okay? And Japan is a beautiful country. Go on a hike by yourself, go camping by yourself, take some time for yourself, but also have an important support group around you as well. Family, friends, make sure they're supportive of you and support what you're doing as a foreign parent in Japan. Foreigners here in Japan have different reasons, whether it's being a refugee, fleeing their country for safety reasons, coming here to live a more successful life financially, providing a safer life for your child. There's lots of reasons for foreigners coming here to Japan, but you want to be sure that you're supportive of each other and take care of yourself. So I hope you learned something from this video. I hope it's helpful. And if there's some challenges that I haven't talked about, feel free to put them in the comments below. And I'd love to hear what kind of challenges people face so we can help each other overcome and live a happy, healthy life here in Japan. So hope you enjoyed it, and stay tuned for the next video. I'll see you next time.